So today I'm wanting to show a route from Watcher's Grave in Nessus Patrol to the Nessus Spire, which is a little bit of an easier route. You'll find it's easiest to do it on Titan. Hunter's definitely next in line in terms of like ease of access. Warlock, you're probably going to have a really bad time if you try and do it on it, so your best bet would be to drop in on Titan. You're also going to want some form of vertical height gain. A stasis crystal or a grapple point will probably be plenty to do it with. And then after that, you're also going to want some form of infinite flight to make the final trek. So either grapple flying or sparrow flying if you can do that. Anyways, the first place that we want to get to is over here underneath where Xur normally spawns in. There's a really convenient hole, and I'm kind of surprised that I don't see more blueberries coming out through here and wandering around. Just kind of tucked away underneath where you normally see him. From here, we're going to jump down to this rock, and then across over onto this Vex structure. Pretty soon here we're going to need like a singular eager edge swing, but the majority of this route can be done with like just jumps and maybe a melee or two. I'm sure you could do this without eager edge, just a grapple or a stasis nade. Because towards the end of this route there's actually a pretty good spot to practice like sparrow tech or grapple flying, any sort of like move tech really. And so being able to get here without doing any move tech is honestly kind of a godsend. But right now we are directly underneath the tank, and our next goal is to climb up and get inside of it. So right up above us are two holes. The one on the right here is the one that we're wanting to go through. If you make your way through the one on the left, you'll find that it's blocked by an invisible wall, which is kind of a pain. But we can just mantle and climb our way up these Vex structures to make it into this hole. And then from here, you can climb up just off of the structures around, but a grapple makes it significantly easier, either a grapple or a stasis nade. When we're coming up on the first load trigger, you want to be in the air when you hit this, because if you're not, there's a good chance that the load will kill you and you'll end up stuck in bounds. And the next load trigger is almost immediately after. We're coming up on it already. This load trigger is actually the reason why I recommend Titan. The main problem with it, after I drop down I'll explain, is that when you hit this load, you want to both be holding S and mashing your jump button so that you rub against the ceiling. If you're not getting far enough into the ceiling to hit the load, you'll just fall off and die. And if you get too far into the ceiling, there's a very good chance that it'll kill you and you'll once again get stuck in bounds. So if you manage to slide backwards into it and hit it with absolutely no fear at all, you should be able to actually make it through. Just like, there we go. And now that we're here, the next goal is to climb up. And there's enough stuff just scattered around in the Alpha Selectus load that you could just find a wall to scale up or different structures to jump on. But this massive flat platform is actually the area that I recommend learning to sparrow fly as well as learning to grapple fly. There's not very much that you're in danger of hitting, and there's no box, so you've got a long way to fall down off the ledge. It's a pretty good area to like practice things like that in. But now we begin the long flight over to the spire. This is why I recommended having infinite flight. But I'm gonna jump cut real quick, and here we are closer. Now that we're approaching, this little platform that I'm moving towards is actually a really good spot to be able to get to if you need to get a ghost into pretty much any other load on Nessus. There's very few places that the spire isn't actually present. So if you can get a ghost here, you can get revived by somebody else pretty much in any other load. Oh, gotta watch out for things that aren't solid. A lot of the things around here actually aren't solid, so as we're exploring around, we'll find that the higher up we get on this, the harder and harder it becomes to find somewhere to stand. But somewhere up above me is actually one of the highest things you can stand on in the entirety of Nessus. I'm just going to do a little bit of exploring around to see what we can find, just briefly. I don't want to take too much exploration away from the viewers. And these transparent walls are always so jarring when you try and get on your sparrow and suddenly there's a wall in the way. And this ground underneath me, I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's solid. I'm just gonna wander over to see if this wall is solid and if we can get on top of it and maybe get a good view at the front of the spire, since it's weird to be able to be this close to it and actually look at it. I'm not sure what my sparrow's doing there, but it's cool to be able to see the eye of the spire is like all radiolaria. Just check real quick if this is solid. No, it's not. Yeah, the whole eye of the spire is just a big sheet of radiolaria dripping down, which is really weird to see this close. In some of the other loads, like the cistern, it's like violently bright. But now that we're all the way out here, I want to take a second to go look at where we came from, just to see how big the distance actually is, and get a chance to look at how far we've come. And yeah, that's how you get to the Nessus Spire.